Welcome back to another installment of our mini series, 100 Stories of Increasing Income. And I've got a gentleman on here that I met on Twitter, Bodhi Gallo, and he's dumpster rental guy on Twitter. Bodhi, thanks again for making time.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Okay, so you've got a couple things that you're doing. You're trading in the stock market. You've got a SEO business that is pretty much your full time job, and
Yep.
then you've got this side hustle that is what? Explain this what it is.
So the dumpster business isn't really even a side hustle anymore. It kind of started as one. But I've have a dumpster business. I have 60 dumpsters, two trucks, and an office assistant. And pretty much we just rent out dumpsters to contractors, homeowners, residents, stuff like that. I've pretty much automated the business at this point. I didn't start it as a side hustle. It started out about 3 to 4 years ago. We bought out an existing business, me and my partner. Um, it was someone else's side hustle, which we grew into an existing operating cash flowing business now. We bought out a business with 20 dumpsters and one old raggedy truck. First year in business, we really didn't even have any books. We were like buying a business technically, but it was more of a side hustle. And we've been able to grow it to two trucks and 60 dumpsters just from digital marketing, networking with people and whatnot. And now it's just a side hustle that's just running in the background for me.
Okay, so acquiring something that's existing obviously is one thing.
It
Um,
was more about acquiring equipment more than acquiring a business because I wouldn't like to call it a business because it wasn't ran like a business. All
yeah.
we pretty much had was a list of customers and how many dumps the guys did the previous year. It was all cash on the guy we bought it from. So there was no balance sheet, no income statement. There was absolutely nothing. And we were able to just see an opportunity and just been able to grow it since.
So if you've got this set of cash that you have that you want to be able to deploy and invest in something, why this? Was there another opportunity that you looked at simultaneously that maybe drew your attention that you chose this one over a different one?
So me and my this is kind of how it happened. Me and my partner were in college, making a bunch of money in the stock market. It was right after COVID, so like they were injecting money into the market. It was going insane. We made a bunch of money in the market, and we were just sitting on a lacrosse field. We were Division II lacrosse players, and we just saw trucks going by every morning. And it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We're getting screamed at. We're running miles, doing all sorts of stuff that we didn't want to be doing, but we had to go to school because that was the right thing to do. And we just see trucks going by, landscaping companies, asphalt companies, garbage companies, etc. And he was like, his dad owns a really big asphalt business, and he was like, "Hey, like we should buy a business. What the hell are we doing out here on the lacrosse field? Like we could be making money, but we're losing it because we're here. Like we shouldn't be spending our time here." He came to me with three different businesses, and the only one that really made sense to me was the dumpster rental business because I was able to operate it remotely and I could build systems in place where we didn't have to actually operate in the business full time. For us to get maximum profit, we would have to operate it full time, but we figured out a way where if we put a driver in the seat, we're actually able to operate it and still make money, but actually not have to be in the truck every day.
Okay, so you make money in the stock market. You've got some cash to be able to deploy. You
Yep.
acquire the machinery and the dumpsters and all this stuff. Can you explain the basics of the business? So who is using these services and how does it all work?
So nowadays, my top people who use it are contractors. Roofing companies are my main service. I actually would love to just have them as customers. The reason being is they will use a dumpster 3 times a week, and we can actually drop them off a dumpster Monday, pick it up Tuesday, drop them off the same dumpster Wednesday, pick it up Thursday, and then do the same thing Friday. So I have a couple roofers who I do that with, and they're just constant, steady cash flowing flips. I would consider it recurring revenue at that point. We have nothing in contract though. They can easily use someone else, but we just kill them with service. I have a good relationship with these guys now. So, but pretty much we have two trucks. We have metal dumpsters that are 14 feet long, 7 feet wide, 6 feet high, just about that big. And we just drop them in people's driveways. People load them up. And then when they're ready to have it picked up, we pick it up with our truck. We dump it at the dump and then we give them a bill. All our pricing is based off weight.
Got it. Okay. So if somebody was going to think, okay, because you and I were talking about the possible opportunities in what part of a city and whatnot, and you mentioned kind of on the fringes of a metro area, and you're in outside of New York, right?
Yep. I'm right outside the city.
Or outside the city. So okay, I'm gonna go start a business. I see an opportunity in an area where maybe there's a lot of development going on or some rehabs going on. Um, how much would somebody need to be able to start this from scratch?
The best way of starting this from scratch would be like $50,000. I think you would need. You would obviously need to use that 50,000 in cash to do some financing. What I like to tell people is they should probably buy a truck. There's a lot of things you can get, like dump trailers, which is another type of business, probably the best way of getting into this. Dump trailers are about $7,500 a piece, but you should get a dual axle truck, which has two wheels on both sides in the back and then one wheel in the front. We call them dualies. You should get a dual axle truck and then buy about 5 dump trailers. And then you can probably finance the truck, put 10,000 down, then put the rest of the money into dump trailers. Buy the dump trailers cash. The reason I say that is because if you're not renting out those dumpsters, those dump trailers, you're not making money. And if you're not making money, you're gonna have to pay the financing each month, where your truck could always make you money. You don't have to only do just dumpster rentals with a truck. Where if you're financing dump trailers, if it's sitting in your yard, you're losing money no matter what. At least a truck is like a vehicle. But with dump trailers and a truck, you can just put them in people's driveways, leave, and come back. That's the best intro starter way of getting into this business.
Okay. Okay. So you mentioned one truck, say 5 trailers, and what's
Yep.
the running revenue expectation for a week or a month? How does that all work?
So you should be, if you have 5 trailers, and you rent them out for, let's say, $500 a week, and you're renting out 5 a week, you should be making like revenue point of 2,500 a month. Your net profit should be about, I mean, no, 2,500 a week. Sorry, your net profit on that should be like 1,000 a week. The only thing is, if you're doing this as a side hustle, you're gonna have to figure out times where you can pick it up and dump it while working a 9 to 5, which I know people have done before.
Hmm.
Because the dumps open in some places at 6 o'clock and close at 6 o'clock at night. So if you're working a 9 to 5 from a desk job, you're actually able to pick up, let's say, a dumpster in someone's driveway at 6 o'clock, dump it, then pick someone else's up, dump it, bring them to a new job site, then get back to your job. I've seen people do that many times before, which is a crazy way of living, but it's the best way to get out of your 9 to 5.
Okay. So, year one, right? It's all about recouping some of the capital you put into the business.
Yep.
And, some of the things you mentioned, okay, the actual driver, moving and hauling some of these things. What are other parts of the business that are, uh, you need to be aware of?
So things you need to be aware of is marketing alone. Like you said, I run an SEO agency, but if you're a fresh business and you're starting off, there is better ways to invest in marketing than SEO. I usually recommend people in the dumpster business to do SEO after having like 20 dumpsters on hand. But if you're a new dumpster business, you're starting out, you should be networking with local contractors. You should be posting in Facebook groups, building a simple website out that's like a business card for your business, and also making a Google My Business profile. With those 4 things, that would probably be your best bet in starting a dumpster rental business from fresh to just get your name out there.
Cool. Okay. So, from an ongoing standpoint, you mentioned some automation. Where does that kick in?
So automation kicks in at like the 30 dumpster mark. For me, like when I first got into the business, we were in the truck every day. We were driving pretty much every day, but we actually got out of that, hired a driver, then hired a second driver once we were able to automate it more. And from an automation perspective, is just having someone answer the phone and having 2 drivers is the most important thing for this business. If you can have 3 people to do that for you that are solid and valuable, like you have a